Here we go.
Drinks Professionals Network for, I can't believe it, November 2023. Wow. I missed most of this past month, but but we're all here. It's good to see some good familiar faces. And Mark is joining us. Excellent. Let's just let a few. We got Fred Ordway back. We got Mark Harmon here. We got Mark Bivanor, Sherman, Dan, Kerry, Stephen Gould has joined us, and Brian. All right, well, let's give Brian a moment to join before we welcome Brian.
Hey.
Hi there. Stephen is back on his screensaver, looking like the wizard of distilling. All right, so let's. Who wants to open it up? Who has something? Who has a topic? Since we all, I think, know each other here, we don't have to do too much introducing. Wait, Michael Clancy is joining us. All right.
Hi guys, how are you doing? I'm in the car, so I've turned off my video. So apologies for that. I'm running a little behind schedule Friday afternoon here in Dublin. So anyway, I'm still on the road, unfortunately. I plan to be back at base, but no. So anyway, good to see you all.
All right, and well, you're not the only one. Ernesto's just joined us, and he's on the road too. So everyone,
yeah.
All right.
Our clocks changed here last weekend, so it's
right, yeah,
3:30 here on Friday afternoon rather than 4:30, which is when I normally join you. So anyway,
yeah,
we have that to look forward to this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's right. It was all crazy with trying to get Zoom calls. They didn't know. I said, "Don't worry, the computer does it all for you."
That's right. If you're in the right, if you're get your right time zone setting.
Oh.
Yes. Well, I was just sharing that I've just come back from New Zealand, where it's 17 hours ahead. So it's not even the same day, it's the next day, and which really gets you screwed up. The strangest part was when you go, you lose a day. So left on a Wednesday, arrived on a Friday. And then on the way back, it's the opposite. Left at 8 p.m. on Monday, the 30th, this Monday, and arrived in San Francisco at 12:30 p.m. on the 30th.
Same day.
eight hours earlier. Yeah, and it's like, what? And so then I had a 10-hour layover in San Francisco on purpose, because I had a visit to do there, and realized at the end, as we were having dinner before going back to the airport, I said, let me count how many meals I've had today on the 30th, right? Because it started out with lunch in Auckland,
Turn right on
dinner
East
on the plane,
Francisco Avenue.
breakfast, then lunch, then dinner. It's all on the same day. Anyway.
Wow. Was this the trip? So you met your new kids,
Yes.
or whatever we're calling it?
My Pamela, who and I are getting married later in May, meeting her adult daughters and some of her friends, and
Fun.
yeah, and also I had a great visit with the Cardrona distillery, which is a gorgeous facility.
Oh, so you were down in Wanaka area.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, we were both, but yeah, that was the South Island was spectacular.
The Cardrona Hotel is my favorite place to stay.
Is it? I saw it. I didn't. Yeah. So you've seen where the distillery is? It's absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. And everything they do is single malt, which they create vodka, gin, whiskey, aged in bourbon barrels.
Really?
Yeah. All out of single malt, same distillate.
Huh.
But anyway, so that was intriguing. All right, let's go to Mark, because Mark's more of a recent attendee. Mark, what do you see going on in your world this month?
Well, first off, I want to just say hello to the people I haven't met before. I've met Brian before, Dan, obviously you, Michael.
Yeah.
Nice to see everybody. If anybody doesn't know, I'm the National Sales Director for the Independent Distributor Network, or IDN for short. And it was formed in 2019, and it's a group of 30 states with 32 wholesalers that have formed an alliance to give smaller and mid-sized wineries and distilleries a path without having to go to the Southern Glaciers,
Right, nice.
breakthroughs, all that. Okay, so the only problem with it is there are way too many mid-sized distilleries and wineries that are looking for distribution, and
Right.
we can only do so much pick and shovel work at one time to launch and build things. There's just not enough good mid-sized wholesalers out there anymore. And what I'm seeing for my members, they get inundated daily with samples being sent to them from people.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just inundated with stuff. So when I come with something new that needs, what I call pick and shovel work, they're more at the point now, Mark, we've got enough of that. What can you bring us that has built-in points of distribution and sales and revenue at this point?
Boy.
That is the big challenge right now. I also, when I do talk to a lot of distilleries and smaller wineries, I find myself being more of a therapist, telling them that they're not ready. They've got one person to work the streets themselves. They're also the master distiller, and they want to be in 10 states. And I tell them all the time, you're not ready for that. You should focus on your home state, maybe one other one. My big adage with anybody is cut short and go deep. Spend less time, go to less markets, spend a ton more time in them, and get to know the retailers and the restaurateurs. It's fascinating, and I know everybody who is making a distillate or a winery, it's their dream. They put everything into it. And I'm trying to just help them get the right path. The difference with the Independent Distributor Network, as I've told, this is not a top-down organization. It's not like I'm Wayne Chaplin that can say yes, and all of a sudden you're in 40 states. This is a bottoms up. There has to be a want by a member to represent you. And I think it's better for the distillery or winery, because we all know that when things get forced down on some of these wholesalers, what happens next?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
So I'll just give you a little statistic. When I started in the industry in 1988, there were less than 1,900 wineries in the United States, less than 200 craft distillers, and over 3,500 wholesalers. And today there are well over 15,000 wineries, probably close to 3,000 craft distillers now. That number changes daily.
Mhm.
And there's 900 wholesalers.
God,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
all inverted, isn't it?
It is. And so that funnel, so you as the producer, you got to almost take your life into your own hands and help and be out there helping the distributors sell it and be successful.
Well, I think that's kind of the key that we've talked a lot about, that is that, you've got these brands, as you mentioned, they all want to be in all these markets, but unless they can support it, it's a waste. It's a distraction. It's more expense than it is revenue. You've got to be able to have the resources to drive the volume yourself, have feet on the street, boots on the ground, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And
It's unfortunate. I mean, when I was early on, we used to build brands in distributors. That doesn't happen anymore, unfortunately. We're trying to do that, but we can only do so much. We have, I've got people saying, I can't launch a new brand now until the third quarter of 2024 because they're already scheduled out with things that are, coming up. And that doesn't include a one-off that's going to come that they really want and, is moving from somebody and they can't pass it up. So it's a challenging time to be a mid-sized to smaller producer and also a mid-sized wholesaler.
I want to get deeper into this, but Ryan has something she wants to.
Is anyone using, excuse me, Provi for this
Yeah.
scenario?
I am. It's Vanessa. Can you hear me?
Hi,
Yes. Hi,
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Hey, who was the gentleman just talking? Is he part of IDN?
That's me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Are
Mark
you in
Harmon.
Massachusetts? You're
No,
the
that,
president?
our member there is Ruby. That was David Brown, who used to be the president. He's not anymore. That's a 2-year term, and he's rotated out.
So who's the president now?
His name is Alex Thompson, and he is with Prestige LeDroit in Maryland, DC, Delaware.
Okay, because I did send an email to IDN and of course, nobody got back to me as usual.
Well, that
So,
now you know. Well, that's a problem with us is on our website. We're working on that. So now you've got me, Vanessa. So I'm the guy.
so who are you? So what state are you in?
I live in Seattle.
Okay, I was sending a couple of Black-owned distributors for them to become members of IDN. So you had that whole talk, and I'm a distiller, and you already know that there's very few. There's 10 Black distilleries, period, and I'm the
Right.
only woman that's actually distilling. I have Black Mama Vodka. This is my 10th year. So we now have a couple of, Black distributors that we're supporting. One is Kelly Family in Georgia. He's doing a phenomenal job. I can't believe it. And then there's another guy in Kentucky.
Yes.
And then there's one more. And I told them
Legacy.
to reach out to you guys to become members. So that way you have diversity.
Well, the only problem, Vanessa, is right now, the only state where we have multiple wholesalers is Tennessee because of the franchise law. They don't overlap. So it's really difficult to have more than one wholesaler in a state as a member of the independent distributor network because they have to pay quarterly dues to be in the group. And then I would be stuck then, who do I recommend a brand to? Which distributorship? And so we try to only have one wholesaler in each state, but I'll take this offline with you. We can
Georgia.
become-
But that was Georgia. I didn't say anything about Tennessee.
Well, Georgia, we have a member in Tennessee. We have a member in Georgia, and we have a member in Kentucky as well.
Oh, got it. All right. And then I did refer you guys to a couple of brands. We actually started Black Liquor Distribution Network because we're tired, 9 of us have gotten together and put money in to help, Black and Latino, brands that need help. So
I love it,
hopefully-
Vanessa. I love it. I'll reach out for you offline on this, and we can have a conversation. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be good. Now back to
Sure.
Provi, y'all. So I use Provi. I love it. I use it for New York. I use it for New York, DC, and Maryland. So, and I get to sell, I use it to sell direct. So I have a catalog. Provi right now is, I don't know what's going on. It used to be $750. And $750, was owned by Bev Media, or Bev Media bought $750. So now they merged. They're not taking anyone on, any new brands on until Q1
Okay.
to go
How
on
did
the site.
pickups? Are there any cons to joining with them? Are you seeing more people are becoming open to this concept for the on-premise?
Yes, in my case.
Okay.
The thing is, for me, it works because in New York, DC, and Maryland, I get to sell directly to on and off premise. So they can put their PO, and I put on my sell sheets to order through Provi, and the retail on and off premise can sign up for free.
Yep.
So I give them an incentive to do that. And then I don't have to pay for any advertising. So if my it's a little bit of a challenge, like you're almost hand selling. Like they may not want to be on Provi, but Southern's on Provi, R&DC is on Provi, all the majors on Provi because they're using it. I got a client, I got the high, I got Hotel Maryland.
We're breaking up. Vanessa.
Um,
Uh-oh.
I'm breaking up.
Yeah,
I'm breaking up.
yep.
Am I breaking up?
Now
Am
you're
I
you're
breaking
not.
up?
Now
You're
you're not.
breaking up. You're
Yes,
breaking
I
up
am.
on us. She's breaking up on us, everybody.
Now she's frozen.
There you go.
Somebody else talk then. Am I? Can you hear me?
Now we can.
in
but
and out.
You might want to
It's
shut your video, stop your video and save your bandwidth.
You
Maybe
know what, Mike? Because I'm going into Mike. I'm going into Smithtown. That's why. You know how Smithtown is.
Turn off your Wi-Fi signal on your phone and go straight cellular.
I am cellular because I'm in the car. You think
Yeah,
looking
but
this
your
beautiful?
Wi-Fi signal on pinging?
Let me see.
Okay.
No,
Kill your
It's
video
just-
too.
Yeah, just kill
Kill
your
my-
video. That'll
kill
save
my
your
video?
bandwidth.
Yeah.
That'll save
Okay.
your bandwidth.
Mark, are you using Provi for any of your smaller brands as a distributor?
We don't myself, I don't know which each wholesaler uses. Because they're all individuals and do different things.
Yeah, this is for them to sign up with Provi and use Provi as a way to ship to on-premise accounts, so they don't need the in-state distributor. So we've got
Well,
small
some of
brands
some of the
that are-
brands I talked
necessarily
to have been
true.
using Speakeasy or Provi or MH in states that we're not in. Once they sign up with one of our wholesalers in the state,
Right, of
they
course,
stop doing the direct shipping,
Of
through
course.
a Provi or someone like that.
of course, but where there's not
Well-
a distributor,
I mean, we don't have a distributor partner in New York, for example. So if they want to go ahead and sell in New York direct through Provi, we would never stop them.
okay,
But the minute we would get a partner in New York, I would ask that brand to at least interview them to see if there was a
Course.
see if there was a desire for them to represent them. And if there
Yeah.
was, then I would ask them to stop using Provi and then go through the wholesaler.
Well, what about the other directive of, let's say you have 5 SKUs and that market's only bringing in 3, you still open those other 2 SKUs in the market through Provi and allow the distributor to sell the 3 that they want to sell, correct?
We rarely have that happen, Sean. Usually. Listen,
Well,
every
I mean,
brand has every brand has a tail.
Yeah.
They have the 1, 2, or 3 things that do really well, and then they've got 4 through 10 that don't.
Well,
Sometimes the
it's
distributors don't want to carry those.
Yeah. But when it's vodka and it's your main one mover and they don't want to bring it in because they have too much vodka to sell, that's the inalienable right that they actually veto out. So
Yeah, and I would ask
you and
would
I
tell that.
have this conversation.
I know we
You're
have.
like, if you don't have 1.75s, we're not bringing you in. I'm like, okay, well, we don't have it. So there you go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what I have. I have 175. So like I do that during the season. Like I have a Black Mama New York vodka. That's 175. So it's really at a good price. And then I can just beat everybody. And that's what they're picking up now. I can only do it in the markets that I sell direct to. Because the 175, I can, they're selling it at $22. That's a value.
Mhm.
And I move it very quickly. And then they pick up because they already carry my other brand. So, I can't do it outside of the state of New
I
York.
guess my answer to you, Sean, if your number 1 SKU is a vodka and the distributor decides they don't want to represent your vodka, they're probably not the right wholesaler.
Yeah, that's my first. Yeah, that's correct.
Understand, I think like you, I've been a supplier my whole career. So I think much more like you do than I do the distributor. So I'm always, trying to motivate my network to think a little differently.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Vodka gin, is a tough category.
It is. It's oversaturated, over desired, and no one's really searching out a new brand anymore on any of those SKUs. It's almost like the accidental purchase, right? That looks cool. I'll buy it.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, I was late to the party, everybody.
No, Sean,
And
it's
y'all,
like,
just so you know, I've only got 9 more minutes. I double booked myself. I have another meeting at 9 o'clock I have to get on. So I'm really happy to be part of the group, and I'll definitely, join every chance I get moving forward to get to know all of you a lot better.
Well,
And
that's great.
how we can work together. Vanessa already sent you an email on your info. Okay.
Oh, good. I will be responding. I am gonna come up there to Seattle. I am gonna be doing something, so I do
Okay.
need something lucrative. I got something lucrative going on, as usual.
Lucrative, lucrative. So Mark, before you do have to jump off, I want to, oh, and Stephen also has to, a meeting coming up. But I just wanted to ask, is there, can you identify a brand that is really succeeding? Where, you know, through your network?
Yeah, in about 18 states, we have Middle West out of Columbus, Ohio,
Uh-huh.
and they put people in the street. They have a bourbon cream, which is lower proof, that seems to be working well. They have a pumpernickel rye, which is different. Their Michelin series, their higher end is getting good, you know, scores, whatever that's worth these days. Everybody's got them. They put people in the streets to work alongside our people. They invest heavily into the marketplace. Another one we're working with is Cleveland Whiskey out of Cleveland. You know, and he says every state you open with us, I'll put a person in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So that checks a box for our distributor member, you know. So like in Missouri, he's added somebody there. He's added somebody in Arkansas, Texas, you know, not just one state, but to cover two. So we're just now really expanding. Buzzard's Roost, we now have Judy's brand in 8 markets right now, hoping to expand more with her as she grows. So, and then Mahenta tequila, this whole additive free is a big kick. And, you know, we got a lot of people talking to us about those right now from a tequila standpoint, you know, that all natural tequila. So,
Yeah.
To try that with the vodka. Dan Aykroyd is screaming that he's additive free. So maybe that's a way to get vodka into new places.
yeah. The Skull one, out of
Yeah.
Canada. Yeah.
Crystal,
I mean, wine is the toughest right now. Just
Yes.
everybody knows that wine is very, very difficult. No one is really looking for a RTD either right now because it's really hard to compete with the national big boys. You're not going to get the shelf space in the grocery store. You know, when Diageo, Pernod, you know, Gallo, you know, they're, you know, heavily funding those grocery stores in one way, shape, or form. So I always tell the little guy, go to your local grocer, you know, the one that's in your home market. Don't try to go way far outside of that. Unless, you know, it's something that my Anheuser-Busch wholesalers who have started wine and spirits division, if it could be an add-on to go into C-store, that's a big deal to them right now to try to get their revenue back up from what happened with Bud Light. So they're looking for add-ons to go into that C-store kind of area. So, you know, if it's different, like there's this Sasser hard lemonade out of North Carolina, you know, the distributors in my college towns like it because it's 20 ABV.
What?
I know, right?
In a can?
In a can, a lemonade.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
we have a 20% or two on a mule, and we use that as a higher proof, so we don't have to worry about the shelf stability and expiration date.
Wow.
Smart.
It's also probably got 3 tablespoons of sugar in it, Carrie. So you know,
Hey,
Sounds great.
I didn't
God.
ask for any ad libbing.
I'm talking the Sasser, not your mule. Okay.
Okay, all right.
But you know, so like
I have a headache-
my distributor in
I have a headache
Knoxville
just
is
talking
looking
about
at that because it's a, you know, college town, you know,
Yeah.
they look, you know, for those kinds of things. But
Rip it and grip it.
yeah. So does that answer your question, Michael?
yes. it does.
Okay.
So I have a
Um,
quick question before he leave.
Mhm.
Like I'm with Imperial Beverage Group. It's part of your member. So if you're with one, is it easy? Is that how you guys work?
What's the question again, Vanessa?
I said I'm with I'm doing business with Imperial Beverage Group in
Yeah, they're in
Michigan.
our group
I know.
in Michigan.
I just realized that. Yeah, and I'm also with RNDC. So that's a whole but if you're doing business with Imperial, is it that they'll help you get with the rest of you? Is that what you guys doing? Like working
Well,
collectively or no?
first off, we never say you have to use one of our members. what we would say is we would just encourage you to interview one of our members if you're going to move to another state. Like if you were looking for distribution in Indiana, I would ask you to interview Vino, Indiana. You know, I don't want to force you to work with somebody, especially if they don't want to work with you, and vice versa. And if, let's say, you had a great relationship with Crossroads in Indiana, who am I to tell you you can't go to somebody where you have a good relationship? We're trying to do it differently.
I see. So that means I don't have to use RNDC in Indiana. I could just pick you guys.
If they want you, if they want you,
They don't want me.
if Vino, Indiana wants to represent Black Mama, then yes,
Come on.
I would say that's a great opportunity for you. But we'll talk about that when we have a Zoom ourselves too. Okay.
Okay, I'm leaving for Grenada next week, so we're gonna have, and so I'm bringing back some rum, guys, in case you guys want some Caribbean rum. You gotta have to hit me.
Well, we can talk in December. I'm not, they don't want me to bother them in December. So reach out for me anytime. I just sent you my contact info.
Okay, great.
Everybody, I gotta go. Anything else real quick? And I'll be on the next one for
Good
sure, Michael, and I
talk,
won't
y'all.
double schedule. All right.
It's a good catch. I like this invite.
Yeah, and yes, Mark, so December 1st will be our next one.
I am open December 1st, so please send it and I'll be more than happy to hop on and try to help people. All right. Everybody have a great
Okay.
afternoon.
Good to see you,
Great
Mark.
Friday.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Mark.
See ya.
So Mark, the other Mark, is he here? Did he go? Oh, he's
on mute and he's,
Okay. I was gonna ask for his take on the RTD, which we've kind of talked about in the past, but yeah. So Sherman, what's new with you?
An explosion of tequila brands. That's
Oh,
what's
Uh-oh.
new. It's like one a week.
Really?
oh my God.
Yeah, and
Good.
incredible budgets. I mean that and whiskey both. We're just seeing, you know, we had a request today. Let's do 30 before the end of the year. And it's like, hell, how do we even get 30 booked
Scheduled,
in
yeah.
this
30
late
what?
in
Tasting.
Tastings?
OND?
Wow.
Yeah, tasting. Yeah, yeah. So I bet Ryan's seeing the same thing. I mean, it's just nuts. The explosion of craft whiskeys and tequila brands, and you know, some want the impossible, but others have mature leadership. They understand the money they have to spend, and they're really doing it. And it's quite interesting to see. I mean, it's like the demands are kind of crazy.
Well, a lot.
I need a separate staff just to book sampling.
You have a lot of celebrities pushing these products right now, because that's what I'm seeing a lot of on the development side.
I see the press and that on the development side, but that's not what we're seeing. We're seeing fairly experienced people that have come out of Diageo or out of Brown-Forman or out of other places actually starting the brand and putting the money in.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just took a phone call yesterday from, I mean, I'm in LA, so we get a lot of dreamers that want to have something, and we have a group that's looking to do a bourbon actually. So it was nice to take that phone call instead of tequila.
He said
Yeah.
dreamer. I know exactly what he means.
But Vanessa, it literally just changed like in 3 seconds after the phone call. We want bourbon. That said, but we're considering tequila. I'm like, of
Yeah.
course you are. Of course you are.
I had the same phone call yesterday.
Mhm.
It was like the Trail of Tears. That's all it is. Listen
Well,
to
I
people talk about tequila.
Yeah, I think that, you know, this with seeing so many announcements over the past month, the question is really the you know, the value of a celebrity. How do you measure it? You know, and and not all celebrities are created equal. So I think
Right.
there's you know, the interesting thing is when someone's just a celebrity, but they don't really have any skin in the game, and they may not even have you know, any real value to bring. That's one thing. You know, another one is someone who's really going to get out there and work it and make it part of their story.
Well, Vanessa's got one. How's the
Leslie.
Isley Brother thing doing?
They reing up
I
right
saw,
now.
okay, so I saw Vanessa 2 times this month.
Last month. I know, right?
Well, last month, sorry, October.
Yes. And you know, it's funny, Carrie, what was it? The Taste of Buckhead.
That
So-
was the one here, and then I saw you at the New York City Food and Wine Festival, the Food
Right.
Network event.
But you know what's funny? I wasn't at the Buckhead yet. So Carrie calls me and says, "Wait a minute, you made this?" Actually,
I went
tasted
to her
the-
She was
table.
already tasting, oh, she.
Yeah,
She tasted. I think she tasted the Ron Isley or whatever it was,
yeah, it was. Yeah.
right? And she
Yeah.
said, "Oh, "God, you made this?" Yeah.
Yeah, the Isley stuff is good.
It
Yes.
was.
Mike,
That's why I had to
got
call her. Well, first of all, I thought I
got
was
a
going to see her
question.
there at the table. So I left my table to go to her table and she wasn't there. I'm like, okay, I'm at your table tasting your stuff and you made this?
Right, that's the Ron Isley people. They do their own table,
Yeah.
they do their own brand, they got video, you see they had a whole video crew. They putting together because they're in the entertainment industry, they always have a camera guy with them that they can do things at a drop of a hat. I mean, I am in awe of their social media, and they just sent me a commercial, which, you know, they're vested because they put their own money up and they have their own, you know, license, like I said. So I did a presentation to Breakthrough to bring them into Missouri, you know, to see what would happen. But they sold out in Detroit, you know, 70 cases went like that in 2 days, you know, and then he went there to do a tasting. There was a line around the corner. The only reason why he didn't show up to a taste of Buckhead is because Ron Isley's brother passed away.
Right.
So they canceled, but they're gonna go back. You know, they're gonna do, I think, Chateau Elan or something. I think they're doing that on the 11th and 12th. I won't be there, but he's moving it, and they're in it for the long haul. You know, and I'm sure now that his brother passed away, he doesn't have to worry about that lawsuit, which is good in a sense. He can,
I don't even know
rest.
what lawsuit you're talking about.
Girl, he is very upset because him and his brother wasn't talking because they
Oh.
were actually in court about some copyrights or something. And that really made him upset that, that his sibling passed away and they really didn't have a chance to mend things. And so, your family is important,
Mhm.
so he was really hurt behind that, which I can understand, so there's only 2 Isley brothers left now, just Ron, who's 83, and then Ernie,
Who's the
which
spearheader of this project, Ron?
Ron and his wife, yeah. Candy, the one with the blonde hair. I think she's 46 and he's 83.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it when you call me Big Pop.
Got a
Look,
question.
Yeah, for real. Okay. Well,
Hey,
it seems
they
like
have
it's
such a-
working for them.
they have it's funny, they have a great relationship. Sometimes I look at them and I'm like jealous, and I look at my husband like, what the hell? But it's pretty good. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of other celebrities are hitting me up. I'm like, you gotta wait till 2024. I gotta see if you really want to do something, because I'm doing my last 3, doing them, and then I just got.
I see Ryan's question.
Yep.
What
Defines
is
a celebrity brand? Yeah.
Right,
what?
right.
What did he say? I couldn't
She
see
said,
that.
Ryan's
what
asking-
defines a celebrity brand today?
Right.
Well, I have clients calling themselves a celebrity brand, and I'm like, I don't
Who?
many people.
The
Unless
celebrity
you're in the
brand.
niche that they're in, like what defines a true celebrity brand?
I
today?
know.
Well,
And
it's
half of
kinda
them
like-
don't
it's
even
kinda
care
like-
about what it is that they're behind anyway. Like
It's like
that's
what
what's even
defines
more
an
annoying.
influencer, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, wait, you can, just because you call yourself an
Yeah.
influencer doesn't
Right.
mean you are.
You-
Who
There's
follows you,
benefits to influencers for sure in a target niche, area. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. Like if you're known in the vegan recipe space and, then that's great. But the celebrity brand term is really getting to become
Well, because
oversaturated.
almost because they all have one now. So it's like, what's going to
It's
come up next? I mean,
self-proclaimed, though.
what
It's
was the one this
self-proclaimed.
morning? Is it Matthew McConaughey's coming out with another thing?
Yes.
Oh, did you see the advertisement? Him and his wife driving around naked on a motorcycle? Oh,
I
What?
didn't see that one, but
yeah. That,
Sex
yeah,
sells.
yikes.
oh
You
my
can-
God.
You can find out pretty quickly if it's a true
Those-
celebrity brand once you ask them for support for digital marketing. Because
Yeah.
that's when they're gonna say, yeah, you can use my namesake. Yeah, I'll post for you. Yeah,
Right.
I'll-
So like, is it an endorsement or is this something they're passionate
The-
about? I mean,
yeah, the
presumably they
only-
just want their name on it.
I think that's the
The only
difference right
one-
there.
Yeah.
The only one that I've seen that's been super popular out here in the West is the Mark Wahlberg tequila,
He's-
Finca.
And he's on
He's-
he's in the circuit right now. I don't know. if
Yeah,
you guys, like,
he is on a tour that
he's
tear
been on
down the world.
every talk show, news
They-
show, every
Yeah, but
Oh,
here's
yeah.
what's sad. How often do you hear the brand name or do you hear Mark Wahlberg's tequila?
Right.
well, he's
You know,
tying
you
it
don't,
in
and
because they're
that's what's-
doing it. They're
That's
coming out
what
with
he's
another
doing.
new
He's
Kids on
going
the Block.
everywhere, as Sean said. He was up in Montreal. He was up in Toronto.
Yeah.
He's
Well, he's-
pushing his brand really hard.
He's,
I know, but I-
he's a great businessman because he's
But it's
behind.
because of the tour. They're coming out with a new Kids on the Block tour, 2024.
New.
I
So
can't
it's all
remember.
tied in
The
together.
the new kids on the block, yeah.
They're- He
He's
ain't
front row
stupid.
ticket.
Oh, we're
He's
so excited.
Yeah.
But that's what works. That's what works because Ron Isley he's always on tour. Like he has a show right now at the National Harbor. Like he actually has a tour. So his fans are actually following him. And you know, when we went to Detroit, you know, we were able to get the analytics. They had like marketing analytics that they gave to us so we can pick the markets to see where we can target for his
Right.
brand.
That-
And
We're
that
doing
way-
it for Cardi B's stuff and we're following her press tour
Yeah.
and we're rolling in with barista carts and topping it with her vodka infused whipped cream, but we're leading with the name. And speaking here in Vegas, because Mark lives here, to the on-premise accounts, everyone just calls it Mark Wahlberg's tequila. The name is not trending with the bar owners,
What
unfortunately.
is the name? I don't even know. I can't remember.
I don't
Oh.
need Aquanita something. I can't even remember.
Well, I will say one brand duo that is doing a great job and tying it in is the Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul Mezcal. And the brand is Dos Hombres.
Dos Hombres.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're doing a tour all over. I think I know I've seen they were doing
2023 Costco's
yeah,
full
Yeah.
pallet drops with signings. Yep.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice.
yep.
With replenishment guarantees.
Yeah,
I was just-
that's
I'm
nice.
just- I'm looking at, they've announced their tour locations. They have a whole schedule, of tour locations that they've been doing, and they've been doing it for a year, I think, at least a year.
Are they
and-
fully vested into it? Is that they have money in it? They have skin in the game? Do you know?
It says it was co-founded by them. I don't know if.
Yeah,
uh,
their whole entire message is identical to Clooney and
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
that's the eyes.
Constellation.
I have an
Constellation.
original bottle of their Casa Azul up on my shelf that was bottle number 101.
Hmm.
And it doesn't taste anything like the original packaging, I can tell you that much.
Hmm.
At
Oh,
all.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Is
Okay.
everyone aware of the sting operation going on with ALEO? They are catching people shipping from distilleries and shipping product.
AL?
EO. Yeah, so what they're doing is they're like undercover, they're shipping product to themselves, mainly two things. One, mainly to states that you cannot ship alcohol to, and the officers are shipping alcohol to themselves, getting it, and then going after the distilleries. So those distillery owners on here, be careful that you are not shipping to those
Oh.
states.
What
For
states
any-
is it?
For any reason. 41 you can ship to legally and the rest you
Mhm.
cannot. I've got a map on my website. I can put the link in the chat.
Yeah,
of
I
the
know like Michigan.
Pause, a hard no, Michigan, Tennessee. But the officers are shipping it to themselves and then going after them, which is kind of shady.
They're not supposed to do that because are they part of TTB or they're out of state?
No, I asked, because I was speaking with my shipper this morning, I asked him what it stands for. I'm guessing it's alcohol law enforcement. I don't know what the O.
Yeah, but if they're not
Organization?
federal, each state has a jurisdiction. And when you fill out your license, they ask if you're a police officer, because police officers are not supposed to handle any alcohol at all.
This is just what's happening. I mean, undercover cops aren't supposed to sell drugs and buy
Yeah,
drugs.
you had it. That's got to be pushed through legislation. I know because we're doing that. We deal with that. Like officers cannot have a bar or a distillery in the state of New York and other
Buying-
states.
They're buying
Federal.
it online and shipping it, and then they're going after the distilleries.
Oh, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Because they're not reading the TTB laws then and the state laws. You can't do that
They're
out
a
of the state.
consumer and they're buying online from the distillery and getting it.
Consumer is different than acting as a police officer.
I hear
Two
you.
things. They're not Trump.
I don't, hey, I'm on your side. I'm just letting you know.
You're
this came
using
through this morning
taxpayer
as a
dollars in your
conversation.
capacity to go to do work that's out of your jurisdiction. As a consumer, that's a different story. But now
And
you're
they're-
playing in the role of the capacity. They gotta be
And they're
careful.
also smacking down hard on, the whole olive oil. It's olive oil, not saying it's alcohol.
Mm.
So just be cognizant of how you're shipping your products.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got
that's
a distillery right now that's in trouble and they are just frozen from shipping any alcohol.
Oh, Jeez.
Yeah. Not sure
Yeah.
how that is possible.
We have several side conversations going on in the chat.
I know, I'm just
Um,
trying to,
let's see.
So with,
I don't even understand
Sherman
what
and
Brian's
Brian,
question
the
is.
discussion, Sherman asked the question, suppliers are telling me data proves brands are no longer built on premise, they're built via retail. So is it retail on premise or DTC via online? Brian has said typically digital off-prem, on-prem, and digital iteration in all aspects. I think this deserves a little bit wider conversation. And I think, we have to also make a distinction, I think, in what is digital, because digital is a combination of things, really, right?
I just
it's-
had this
it's the-
whing thing with my company
Yeah,
because now
it's
they're separating digital and social media, and now it's all lumped into one, or
Well, I mean, 'cause
everyone has a different opinion.
Well, there's
We're paying all these social influencers, and is that
there's
considered
brand
digital, or is
building,
that
there's creating your brand narrative and reaching and targeting
digital
the right
content? And
then it's the transaction, right? It's the ability to either order the product or, geo targeting to where the product's available, right? That's a whole subset beyond that. And then obviously it's all the online portals, and then it becomes even the presence in things like Drizzly or on, in DoorDash, because if the liquor store, the retailer has a listing on, these delivery sites, well, then that product can be featured in there. And that becomes pretty powerful tool. So
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because we just went through something with Caskers, and Caskers has our product listed on it. And I asked them to take down the product off their site.
Good.
For two things. One, the evaluation of our price point was 3x over what it was scheduled to be sold for. Two, they can't buy it in the state because I control all the marketing and I know what states can buy it. And third, I asked who the accounts were through Caskers who was posting it on there to get the retail sales. And I actually reached out to them and said, do you have products sitting? Did you buy product from California and didn't tell anyone and you just posted it on your site? And That's what they did. They actually came to California. They purchased product and they're retailing it on the internet. I'm like, whoa,
Oh
whoa.
my God.
What?
And that's what they did
That's-
with my client in Grenada. They don't sell to Caskers. They're selling their rum for $299. They went to Grenada and bought it for $35.
Yeah.
And then they're selling it on the site. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yep.
so there's some other things to consider also. I think the 3 points that that were being mentioned was like your web design, your web link sales, your social media, and then the platform that we're actually using to get out to the market. I think those are the 3 things, but I have the biggest question is, you know, we only use our platform site, and our platform site goes through a third party through Excel Pay. I don't know if anyone else is using Excel Pay as a loop,
No.
or they basically act as the engine on the site, shows the pop-up screen, where you can sell to. And then the facilitator is actually a third-party facility that our in-state distributor buys from them directly. So we're using the third-party tier system in California, but they sell everything to us. They had a TTB at their facility because they increased their sales by like $2.2 million in 1 year. And so TTB went through and inspected every single product that they had on their facility and holding area, for consideration of it was illegal violation of selling across state lines, because they wanted to know why they were making so much money. So the going back on the first thing about the ALEO, that's kind of like a weird tie-in. I think the TTB is going to start crashing down on some of these the sites that are illegally selling stuff that they shouldn't be selling. It'd be interesting to see that come down.
I have a quick question. Is it Accelepay? They're actually holding the product? I
No,
thought they were
they
just
just act as a platform to retain the
Okay.
fees,
I
and
saw
then
that.
For the process
whoever,
of the transaction. So they sit in
Yeah.
between. They're a digital
Okay.
platform where the transaction takes place, and then they connect the dots for the 3-tier system.
Hmm. That's
I think
crazy.
back to the original question, I think that
Yeah.
we're trying to define what is digital, what is not. I think the biggest mistake that brands make is that those lines should be blurred, because there is no, like, everything from, like what Sean was saying, landing pages, web properties, e-commerce platforms, e-commerce or email clients that you're using to send out digital communication, like all of that stuff is digital, but some of it's organic. Like, I think the biggest difference is that some's organic and some is paid. So paid digital touch everything. Organic is how you tell your story. And what we see a lot is that brands are on the paid wagon, right? They have budget, they get it, they understand, they need help. But the first place that a consumer is going to go once you hit them with an ad, unless and there are some that will just say, from the first ad that they see, they're going to convert and they're going to purchase because but that's a very, very small percentage of the target consumers. Most of them are going to want to get educated. They're going to feel they're going to want to date you before they marry you, right?
Well,
So
especially in this whole era of user-generated content, and also the idea that that's the essence of creating an authentic brand story, and especially whether or not it's celebrity, but the story of the people who are behind it.
Yeah, and that's where I was going, right? Because if I've never heard of a brand, but I drink tequila and it's a cool tequila brand, the first place I'm going to go is their socials. And if they're not telling a good story there, if they post every 3 weeks or less than that, I don't think they're in business anymore.
Yep.
So I'm out, and that's your one shot to get me, and you lost it because you're not, like, it all has to work together.
Yep.
And then my response to Sherm was like, it should be integrated into everything that a brand is doing, right? We want to know, with the partners that we have, we want to know what they're doing in PR. We want to know what they're doing as far as
every tasting is a story to be told.
Sure.
Every time there's an opportunity to get a reaction, a response to somebody, to tasting the product. That's a story to be told. Every location that
Yeah.
carries the product, you want to see not just the bottle on the shelf, but the people at the store or whatever activity is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can amplify all of that with digital
Yep.
for very cost effectively. And then you can also obtain data at all of those events, whether it be a simple QR code on a table tent on the tasting table, or, if you have a pop-up, then you can have some other kind of immersive activation where people can opt in. But I mean,
Yeah, we actually just made that. Oh,
it-
Brian,
yeah,
we just made that pitch with us. We had like multiple new distributors expanding out of California, and they're like, your story is great because it has a lot of detail to it. And we're like, yeah, and they're like, you need to do this some certain way. So we removed like the story blog of what Rob's story was, put our veteran logos on there and a QR code that goes right to our cause focused charity. And it's going to be on every, shelf talker we have, every type of like directional pitch that we make, we have it so that people can just automatically scan it. And the best thing is that QR code is also, whenever I'm doing an event, I can geolocate that day and I can tell anyone where to go buy it.
exactly.
That's a huge point. I'm glad you brought that up because I always thought the QR codes were cool just to look up something really quick. But then at that point, you usually make your 15 seconds to 20 seconds of yes or no, and then you decide what you're going to do with it after that point.
Yeah.
So,
and I think I brought this up on a previous call. Like, it drives me nuts when I go to scan codes because I'll go to Total and I'll look like an idiot. I'm just scanning everything because I'm trying to learn what are brands doing. But when it takes me to your homepage of your website, that's what drives me nuts because you're not telling me a story. I'm not getting a customized
And
message.
it's
from the
yeah,
distiller. I'm not.
take
not
you
interesting.
specifically to a video or to a call to action.
And then ideally,
Yeah, we're
something
doing
that's contextual to where I am and what I'm doing, right? So if I'm in a liquor store in Florida, it should be different than if I'm in a liquor store in Minnesota during the winter, right? The message should be contextual. But so many
we're doing
times,
two.
here's our homepage.
We're doing two pretty big activations for an extremely well-known whiskey brand that will remain unnamed. And it's amazing to me. It shouldn't be the promo company who's doing the activations sharing how easy it is for us to build a little laminate with a QR code telling the story of their primary charity, their primary nonprofit initiative. So people who attend the activation can become a part of the mission. It blows my mind that the little promo company gets credit for this brilliant idea when they have some of the smartest damn people in the industry who can't seem to grab their ass with both hands. I am amazed at what I'm finding out there. Why should a sampling event be a lost opportunity when you
I
have
just
a
want to know,
chance?
where did the expression grab your ass with both hands come from? Because I've never heard that one.
I'm not sure. I did not make it up. I steal from the best. That might have been one of the worst.
Well, now you know why we're in this industry, right? Now you know why when I was in sports and entertainment doing the same stuff and I got introduced to this industry, I was like, oh my God, like this is insane. And it's crazy. It is crazy that these ideas are like earth shattering. It's like, do you not see other CPGs doing the same thing? It's like you can't do it in this industry for some reason. It's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity, right?
Yeah, it really is. It seems strange. And I mean, I'm enjoying the data. And the reason I separated DTC is because, I've talked with, these great pros like Ryan and the platform she's working with and others. There seem to be so many incredible ways to tie all this together, like you said, Brian, that people are really missing. And it's not necessarily that much more costly to capture people wherever they are. It doesn't seem crazy.
You know, the simplest thing that I think gets lost is every time there's a sales call, you know, especially for the brands that have their own, not counting on the distributor, but they have their feet on the street. That should be that's a photo opportunity for, you know, for the brand ambassador or the salesperson, whatever you want to call them. You know, it should always be including a something for a social post. You know, it's
Yeah,
and it's amazing. It's like they're there. Why aren't they taking a picture of something?
you can never have enough content. And back to your authenticity statement earlier, Michael, like
Mhm.
we encourage brands to take pictures of every event, like you're saying, everywhere you are, just take pictures.
Mhm.
Because we've run ads, we've created ads out of images that were completely unpolished, not corporate at all, and they'll perform better than the ads that they spent thousands of dollars producing because it's
Mhm.
social credibility, it's pure, it's authentic. And
Yeah.
circling back all the way to the celebrity conversation, like I just think, I mean, we actually are about to start working with another tequila, and their creative agency came up with a campaign that they turned down, and I agreed that they should have turned it down when they told me about it. But it was basically, we're the anti-celebrity tequila. So they were going to take that angle of saying we're tequila, but we're not, you know, doing what every other tequila is doing, and tell their story that way. They turned it down because they thought that, you know, in the long run, in the short and long run, there could be repercussions to that, right? Because you're putting a target on your back for every brand that is a tequila brand, and maybe you don't want to fight that war. So they didn't go that direction, but I do feel like the consumers, I mean, I just think they see right through it at this point. It's every day there's another celebrity releasing another, you know, product, and it's like I don't know.
I think
I'd love to hear everybody else's opinion on that, but I just think that
Well,
I can't wait till it's
I think it's awesome that you brought that up. We're entertaining a group of comedians that are kind of like us. They have their own huge YouTube channel that gets millions of views, and they're in the midst of making a parody, but creating a brand behind it.
That'll be
So
good.
almost like, is everyone familiar with Happy Dad seltzers?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
So Happy Dad started as a whole entire joke because everyone wanted their dads to be happy, and the kids who got behind it, the YouTube viral guys, they just planned on it being a one-time release. They didn't know that it was going to be viral and actually be good and be decent. And now there's variety packs, there's 24s. They're actually going to be making a 64 pack to make sure your one dad is really happy. It's like their marketing direction is through the roof right now. But I think the parody is there also with the whole. I think it's comedic, honestly. I just think I'd rather go and do my own research on my own tequila and find out which one I want to drink. But I think that's where we all sit in a different realm. We're going to try to find something that we want to. Majority of the people are being pushed in a direction of like, oh, I saw this, I want to buy it. The impulse buyer. But I don't know. I think going back on the digital asset for a second, and retail and on-premise, and which is more important, I don't think it's any less or more important versus the distributor that you're actually going with and the focus and strategy that they have to the marketplace. If that said distributor in, let's say, Colorado has more retail presence and has a domination in retail, they're going to want a retail brand. They're not going to want an on-premise brand because they're going to fail, and they don't want to fail. And if you don't have someone in the market to make their on-premise better, or if they just don't have the account call bandwidth to make that on-premise division better, you're with the wrong distributor, because especially if your brands are more successful in the on-premise world. So I think it's kind of like a horse and buggy type of scenario. It's like, which one do you want? And for me, to everyone on the table, my biggest direction is in growing a brand right now is, do I just get the distribution and then pay the exit fees when I need to pay the exit fees and cut the partnerships? because I consider myself a fairly loyal person, but I also know that loyalty stops if the capabilities aren't being met. So I leave that as my question of the day. It's more of a conundrum of sorts. So
Mhm.
anyone wants to stick their hand in the briar, go ahead, go right ahead.
It is a conundrum.
Silence.
It is a conundrum.
It is. I mean, I don't know if this answers the question, but I can tell you what we've seen with some of the younger brands that we've worked with. Their worst nightmare is getting distribution, having a great sales team, getting into, all of these retail locations, and then just sitting there and rotting because nobody's ever heard of the brand. Nobody looks at it. Nobody knows what it is. So it's becoming more and more of a non-negotiable for us for the partners that we choose. But like, we always recommend owning your backyard first. Learn as much as you can about the audience that's where you have brand saturation, where you have a brand home, where you have, feet on the street, before you invest all that money to cover the whole country or to cover, half of the country or whatever. Get educated through data, because that's what data does. It educates. So that's always our recommendation, and then replicate what you learn in the markets where it makes sense, or follow the data to the markets where it makes sense, where you have buyers that you didn't even know existed because of your e-commerce behavioral data is telling you people in Provo, Utah love your stuff, but you were never considering Utah. So it's hard. I mean, but the thing that breaks our heart is when brands come to us and say, oh my God, we just got into Kroger. We got to move this stuff or we're going to get
Right.
blackballed. Like,
We got in there, but we're going to get kicked out.
yeah, I don't have a solution. I can build massive awareness in those stores, in those markets, but top funnel people aren't going to go purchase. There's stuff that happens in between there. So it's tough.
Well, and Brian, the other conversation I had, and we talked about this last time with Michael and Carrie were on the line, is, we gained distribution for Mint Class on JetBlue. And we did it ourselves, but we couldn't gain the distribution networks because their launch dates were in November and no one was taking a brand on in November. And I mean, my retail partner in California, or my distributor partner in California, shot us down in the 4 states of extension, and we've increased our business 100% 2 years in a row. And this year we're on probably 120% over last year. I mean, and the sad thing is we lost our one big retail partner, which was airlines, and that one would have replaced the business that we just gained, and it would have helped retain our total business growth. We would have been 200% over last year if we would have retained the business. So I think that's the other thing, is that, when I look back on that scenario, it's like I should have just went with whoever I could get to get the distribution in Massachusetts, Florida, and Washington. And Washington sucks because it's like a triple tax state. So whatever you sell there, you have to reduce your FOB by whatever the tax rates are to make sure you cover the actual landed FOB. So, I mean, anyways, not to beat a dead horse, but I do agree, like, owning the backyard is the biggest thing. And I live in Los Angeles, and it's such a saturated market that all the retailers, they are only looking for big brands.
Same as in New York. Same as in New York. Unless you come in with a special, a red light special.
A red light special.
It is. I come with a Black Mama special, and they pick it up real fast, because then they'll call me later. I say, I don't have it. And they're like, oh. So I do that during the season. So that way it's you gotta come up, you gotta be really creative in this industry. 90% of the brands fail.
Yeah.
I read something that said 90% of brands fail. So
and a lot of that, I think, is because they don't know what they're getting into, which is the other thing that blows my mind. Just like Sherman, your mind is blown. Like, it blows my mind when we have discovery calls with brands that, they made their money in, mortgage brokering or real estate.
Real
And they're
estate
like,
or something.
yeah, and they're like, yeah, there wasn't a vodka that I like, so I thought I'd make one. And then they've actually made it. And then they come in there and they say, now I gotta, I want to be acquired. I need to sell this. And it's like, and I have, whatever, they throw out some number. It's like, that's what you're gonna burn every quarter for years before you get where you want to get. But you don't realize that. So I have to be the one to tell you the bad news. Like, we can't
Well,
work with
look,
you.
we've had a number of those brand owners on these calls over the past few years. And Ed Carey, who's been on occasionally with his he's got a whiskey brand in Ohio, and he's in like 4 states, but he was a corporate real estate developer. And this is like a lark, and he was like, I didn't know it was gonna be so hard. And it's like, hey, did you hire salespeople? Did you send them out there? He goes, no, it's me and my daughter doing it. I'm like,
Yeah, I equate it to, I was a wannabe rock star in high school and college, and we had a little band and we played the East Coast and we thought we were going to be the next Pearl Jam. And like, I equate this industry to that. Like, you're trying to be a rock star, and there's 900 billion people who play the same instrument, who are, have the same possibility of making it of you do. But like, it's not, it's just, it's the hardest industry, in my opinion, that I've ever,
It is.
It's crazy. There's so many decisions, so many, like,
The laws alone,
that, and then the regulations,
laws.
and then the different states, and then, yeah, it's crazy.
trying to teach these brands like how to do things or what you can and cannot do, because it's so different in every county to every state that they get frustrated and they don't know. And Brian and I had a call yesterday about digital marketing with a client together. We spend the entire time like teaching them what's available, and they're digesting it versus even thinking about like what it could do for their brand, because they're all turning off their phone securities and whatnot just off a geofencing call versus focusing on what's possible for their brand with what the opportunity is. So just getting them to digest that and then move forward with what's possible for their brand. It's such a cycle. It's like
It is.
nurturing
Quick-
cycle.
Quick question. Has anyone ever used Dean in California Rocket sales team? ROKIT Rocket.
Never heard of it.
Look him up. Rocket. He's it's Dean and Hannah. He sets up Salesforce sales team, and he started it maybe about 2 years ago, I'm gonna say, because
You went mute.
ROKIT, I see.
it's calling me right now. My husband's in California. He go to work. He should be at a meeting. But you can hear me, right, guys?
Yep.
Okay. So what he's done is he had his own brand, and of course saw how difficult the industry is. And then he decided to set up a sales team. So you can actually pay for boots
Are
on
you
the
talking
ground.
about Rocket Vodka and Gin?
That's what he had before, but it's Rocket Salesforce, ROKIT with Dean. So now he's branched out to providing sales reps. In the earlier days, when he sent it to me, I told him I sell direct in New York and other states. You're dealing with Park Street. They were using Park Street. And then I said, that would be difficult to do. I don't use Park Street. But now he's changed the model a couple of times, whereas they're not using Park Street or I forgot the other one, MHW. They'll put boots on the ground and you pay them at a percentage or
I see.
whatever it is.
Rocket Launch.
Yes, Rocket Launch. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's
So-
very similar to the group called Craft Art and Wine, and they actually do the same thing. They have positions where they're
Really?
yeah, there's a few different platforms that are across the country. There's one that just started with 4 executives from Southern Glaciers in Arizona that were the national account directors for the country. And they all left Southern and they created their own company to represent big brands because they're trying to do the subservient of like what Steve Austin has done for the last like decade is create brands, get the buyout and leave with like you know, I forget the brands that Casamigos was one, and you know, they go and meet with Wayne and Harvey and those guys. They sit down, they meet, and they get the national distribution deal, and they get product produced, and they go straight to market. So they saw the writing on the wall. These three guys, they all left Southern they all left $400,000 or $500,000 a year jobs, chasing a bigger Quan. You know, the story of Jerry Maguire always chasing the Quan. So I don't know. It's interesting. There's a lot of those companies out there right now, but
So
I mean,
what they're saying here is utilizing an innovative technology platform. Representing a global team of award-winning producers, Rocket Launch utilizes our innovative technology program. Let's see what we can learn about that.
They're only gonna put boots on the ground in California, Florida, New York. I don't know what the next one was. Texas, I think.
Actually, I'll tell you. Hold on, I just had it.
Vanessa, I've got a good program too, if you want boots on the ground for term, that's exclusive to you.
Yes. Email me. And I
California,
got, you're in Wisconsin, right?
No, I'm in Las Vegas, but we're nationwide.
Didn't we have somebody on here that was from Wisconsin?
oh, that is Wisconsin or Wyoming.
Or maybe it's with a W. It's one of
Yeah,
them.
that's Amanda. She's
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
Amanda, she was on
Montana.
here a few times. Yeah.
Montana.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
Montana, Boise, and then I think Oregon is where she's going to be going into
Right.
after that.
but definitely send me that for Las Vegas. Yeah, I definitely need some boots on the ground for,
No,
especially
it's
for the
just
eyes, please.
nationwide. It's a program that is exclusive to you for sales
Okay.
reps.
Okay, because also I'm gonna want to give it to the Isleys.
It's
Yeah.
triple digit success. It's great.
Okay. Email me.
Here's Rocket Launch. This is their markets.
Yeah, they're not covering
So it's New Jersey, California, Florida, New York, Texas. Here's their technology.
yeah.
Those where the products are placed.
Yeah.
And where does it go from here, Michael?
That's a good question. I don't know. Let's see. Then it shows, okay, map of prospects, location details, place order, send order. Let's see.
So for me, what I'm doing is having them log into my Provi. For me, I'm doing something different because I'm direct here, and I only want them to do the New York for this program.
So let's go
So
directly to your Provi.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Will it show up in their app like this? Or is it linked?
No, I'm letting them log
leaving
into the
the-
Provi
So
to put in because they're working with Park Street and MHW, and I don't work for Park Street.
yeah, well, that's what I was noticing. These markets are the markets that MHW distributes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't work with them.
Mhm.
But definitely I need that sales. Where is she? Where is she? Is she still there?
What, Ryan? Is there?
Top
Yeah,
left.
Ryan? Oh,
What do
she
you-
left?
No,
Yeah, I'm right
top,
here.
top left.
Top left.
Depends on what,
She's actually at bottom right. No, look.
it depends on your view.
Right here. Wherever it may be for everyone. Vanessa,
Yeah,
we dropped your email in the chat. I don't know if it's on the list.
Oh.
Is there drinks
I think
list?
it was in the group. How do I do this chat thing? Let me see here.
I can grab it from Stephanie too, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're on the list.
Ernesto, put your helmet cam back on. It was more fun when you had the helmet cam. We could see.
Yeah,
that
I
you-
was like, is he golfing? What's going on? That's awesome. I want to go. We should do a drinks golf outing.
Yes.
That would be fun.
There you go.
I'll send everyone my 10.1 ABV West Coast Mule. We can get ripped.
There you go.
So it's 9 holes we're doing.
Yes. It might go to putt by the time we get off the second tee.
It's a
So,
scramble and it's 9 holes.
there you
Oh,
go.
look at Ernesto, who's been quietly listening and is now giving us a tour of tequila.
Wait, Ernesto.
Ernesto,
Doing
where are
some
you?
kind of event.
Where's
And
Mark
He's at a
Bimmenhauer?
golf. He's at a golf event.
I think. Hold on.
How do I change the view
Unmute.
on this thing?
You gotta unmute. Wait. You're muted.
All right,
There-
am I unmuted?
Now you are.
There you are.
Good morning, guys. How are
Hi.
you? I wanted to be on the call today. I have this golf tournament. Let me turn it around again.
Yeah.
I'm listening to what you guys are talking about.
Nice.
Tastings. We're doing tasting with our brands.
So it's
Baja
breakfast,
Mezcal.
it's tequila for breakfast?
Yeah, it's what is it? It's 9 o'clock.
Bloody
Yeah.
Maria's.
Ernesto, do you have 700s and 500s?
I have 700s of two brands. Yes.
Okay, we should talk because Netherlands and Eastern Europe is looking for tequilas. I submitted a
Yes.
few, I put it in the drinks chat, but it has to be 700s and 500s, but it's 200,000 bottles.
Yes, I have
Yes.
700s of two brands that I carry. Yes, available
Okay.
for Europe.
Okay, I
Ernesto-
will email you and get some pricing from you.
Ernesto,
Perfect. Yes.
were we on a call on Monday?
I don't know. Maybe.
Were you
I
sitting
talked.
next to, was it maybe your son or someone? I had a call with Cholo on Monday.
Oh,
But I
that was probably my son, because that's Cholo, that's this one.
Yeah,
This is my son's brand.
yeah. As you were showing it to me, I'm like, wait, I just talked to this guy on Monday. I was like, there's no way it was Ernesto. I knew it wasn't you, but
Yeah, it wasn't me, it was probably him. So we're small, talking about small. You guys earlier, we guys talking about small distributors and wholesalers, stuff like that. So we're small, family run. It's basically three. It's myself, my son, and my daughter. We're the ones out here working. And actually, my son's playing golf today somewhere. This thing has not taken off yet. They're gonna tee off in a little bit. I'm doing the tasting. But yeah, each one of us has 2 or 3 brands. Cholo is one of his brands. This is our, you guys were talking about also additive free earlier. So this is our additive free. This is our high ABV, 46% alcohol throughout the line, liter bottles, additive free. So that's a big thing right now. So he's really pushing his brand. We've got other brands. This is our female-owned brand that I think most of you guys have seen. This is the Dia de Muertos edition,
Mhm.
which is edged
Sure.
bottles, liters also, mezcals. We've got whiskeys, Mexican rum, Mexican gin. You guys were talking about all that earlier today. So yeah, so we it's a family-run business. We're small, but we love what we do, and we're very hands-on.
all right. Well, I'm going to reach out to him again. I didn't connect the dots. I didn't realize I was talking to your son. I mean, obviously, I threw out numbers, and I think he was like, I don't think we're there yet, but I'll reach out. We'll figure out a way, man. Like,
Okay.
family. So I'm sorry I didn't realize it.
No, that's fine. I mean, like I said, he's reaching out to a bunch of people. My daughter reaches out with her brand to a bunch of people, and I'm technically the importer. I'm the importer. I am the distributor. We're pushing out to right now. We're doing pushing our brands to 10 states, and we're taking on new brands. We just took on some brands from the East Coast. We've got the Tea Capri.
Tea Capri tequila.
Yeah, Tea Capri tequila that Vanessa arranged that, and we've got it now for California, and we are slowly but surely moving forward, doing what we can.
Amazing.
And
Cool.
you did that
Beautiful day.
California fashion show or something, right?
Yes, we did the Tea Capri with she participated with the brand for the LA Fashion Week.
Yeah.
So the tequila was a sponsor there. They did a bunch of events and cocktails and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool. And I think she came out here. I didn't get to meet her, but she came out here was at the event and everything. And yep.
Be on her good side. I'm just let you know that's my good friend, but be on her good side. I don't know if she told you, but she actually works for the government.
Yeah. Yes, I do know that. For
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
That's good. That's a nice view.
So
This is beautiful.
Is he?
So this is California Country Club.
Wow.
We are in Whittier, California.
Oh, Whittier. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
I don't know if you guys can see the freeway. That's 605 freeway right
Oh,
there.
yeah, yep, right there. Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So
Listen, my husband's in California right now. If you see a tall, handsome
Oh,
man
come on, really?
with a salt and pepper beard at that golf course, you can contact me.
okay, all right. Well, I got to make sure that he's alone though. Make sure he's alone over
If he's
here.
alone or not, you just contact me.
All right. You
Because he
got it.
flew out there yesterday.
All right. And he's in
His
SoCal?
office
He's in
is
LA?
in LA, and he's supposed
Okay.
to be just chilling for the next 2 days, spending time with our son.
Okay. Well, this golf tournament, just so you guys know, where's the sign? This golf tournament is put on by the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office.
Yeah, definitely contact me.
LA County District Attorney. So all these guys are lawyers. All these golfers are lawyers today. But yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. We got all those tequila things that you guys are talking about. It's true. A bunch of tequilas coming out. We're onboarding a bunch of we do the small batch. You know, it's interesting. What everybody was talking about earlier, that there is a lot of brands out there, but we take on the brands that don't have the big budgets. We take on the brands that don't have the high capacity production. We take on all those boutique brands, you know, and that's what we're known for the last 23 years. That's what people know that we do. We're the ones that bring in small batch products, you know, and people really love it.
Nice.
Very
Okay,
nice.
cool. All right, cool.
Well, beautiful. Thank you for that field trip
Yeah.
today. What's that? What are you showing us?
So I'm just trying to show you that like this bottle it has a barrel number 615. This is bottle number 4 of 102.
Oh wow. That is
So this batch of añejo was only 102 bottles. So we are
Mm.
truly micro distilled, small batch stuff.
Okay.
And we run out all the time, and people love it. And once it comes back in, all of our retailers rush to get everything, and we run out again.
I think you got to turn your camera around because we're looking at the parking lot.
Yeah, I'm walking around the golf course, my tee box here. You guys don't want to see me. Here I am. I got my logoed shirt.
Yeah, you're ready for action.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. And I guess next, this is going to be a wrap, unless anyone has a final thought.
Okay.
I think this was a very, very productive session. We will be back on December 1st, same bat time, same bat channel. And
Awesome.
hope everyone has a great end.
Yeah.
Don't blink. The end of the year is going to happen if you do.
It's coming
Very
up.
cool.
Don't forget next week is Veterans Week, so pay some respects out there to your veterans. So
Of course.
we
You
cheers,
got it.
y'all.
do that every
Cool.
day.
All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank you
Send
all.
me more tequila. See you guys.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.